Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. I have one question for you. Is anyone else completely exhausted after this holiday season? I certainly am, but I'm so excited to get back into a normal routine. And I'm actually sharing with you a project that I did in 2025 while I share my thoughts about the first full year on YouTube and my intentions for 2026. Hi, I'm Christine, the artist behind Darlissa Designs, and I'm happy you're here. Welcome. Before I get started updating you on what's happened in the last, I think it's been about a month since I uploaded the last long form video, I thought I would share this project that I did earlier in 2025. And it was one of the first ones that I recorded as I was thinking about starting a YouTube channel. And I never uploaded it. And I was always trying to figure out how to work it in. So, because the holidays were so crazy and I'm just now starting to catch up, and I believe it's January 8th today, I figured this would be a good time because it saves me time and I get to squeeze this one in there so I don't lose it. It's one of my favorite projects. I had a friend of mine in mind for this one because she loves quirky cows. So I had just started playing with AI and I created these sheets, and you'll see the cows that you saw in the beginning and coming up here. So this is a fun project. I'll leave that there and first say happy holidays, happy new year. I missed you all, and thank you for sticking around while I was gone for a little bit. And I actually picked up a few new subscribers during the holiday season, so welcome. I'm glad you're here, and welcome to our creative and crafty family. Okay, so our holiday season starts off with, I believe the first thing we did was Thanksgiving, and we go away and have Thanksgiving with a group of friends that have sort of become family. So much fun out in the woods, nice, beautiful meal, and quiet, peaceful. Good way to start the crazy, chaotic season. Then we get home and it's one thing after another. Friday night, Saturday night. There's always something on the calendar. Bob is a volunteer every year for the Winterfest Boat Parade in Fort Lauderdale, and he helps decorate some of the boats and getting them out of storage, prepping them to be decorated, getting them in and out of the water, and then we go to all the events surrounding the Winterfest Boat Parade. And I would love to do a full video and show you some of the footage that I took. So hopefully I'll get to that soon. We do Christmas Eve at my ex-husband's house, all of us, one big, happy, crazy, dysfunctional family. But it's a lot of fun. And then everyone comes to my house for Christmas Day. So we do the whole Christmas dinner with all the traditional food and trimmings, and then New Year's we get together, and usually we all get together and do a puzzle at my house. But we had friends this year. My children did it at my younger daughter's house. So the following Sunday, everybody came over and we did a puzzle together. So that's always fun. New Year's Eve, I cook shrimp scampi and have tons of appetizers. And of course, we have our champagne for our toast. And we just hang out and be with our friends. We used to go on the boat to Fort Lauderdale, but there's not as many places to dock anymore. And we're getting older. And so now it's just more comfortable being at home. But we have such a nice time on New Year's Eve. And then New Year's Day, a friend of mine, probably about 10 years ago, got me started doing the old traditional Southern style beans and greens for health and wealth. So I cook a roast, which, of course, you probably most of you know I don't eat, but I cook it for everybody else, and collard greens and black eyed peas and cornbread and all that yummy stuff. So that's how we bring in the new year. Now, let me get to my feelings about the first year of YouTube. I started my YouTube channel probably a few years ago and never really did anything with it. I tried a few things. There's still some videos in the early part of my channel where I was playing around and trying out new things. and I've kind of evolved into a steady rhythm of these types of videos, showing my projects while I'm working on them and talking over. I don't mind being on camera. I do mind getting up and getting dressed and getting out of my paint clothes and actually brushing my hair. And so I'm not opposed to be on camera, and you'll probably see me more. But I took a little inventory of the channels that I really like to watch, and I realized that I like watching people work on their projects less than just watching someone's head talking about projects and stories in their life. And I do like to share what my life is like because I think that makes my channel unique. And I enjoy that about other artists too. I want to know how people that are interested in what I'm interested in, how they live and how it compares to what I do. So that's why I do it this way. And it could evolve and change over time, but for right now, this is how I do it. So if you like this style and you like my lifetime stories, let me know in the comments, because if there's a better way I can do things that is more helpful and beneficial to you, I'm willing to take a look at it and try things in a different way. But I kind of enjoy this process. I actually like looking back at my own videos and how I did. Sometimes I learn a lot by watching myself. You should definitely, even if you don't have a YouTube channel, set your camera up and watch yourself work. You learn a lot about yourself and the way you do things that way. Even as I watch the process here with these cows, I realized that over the year of doing YouTube videos, I have changed my process a little bit. Okay, so let's get to the first intention of 2026. One of the things that I would like to do, and I know that people have different feelings about AI and where it's going, I tend to think that it's here to stay, and I can either roll with it or be left behind. And I understand that people think that it is stealing other people's artwork. So there's a couple of extra steps that I take to try and be sure that I'm not copying something that's too close to somebody else's artwork. But I do use quite detailed prompts and edit my images that I create. And I don't know, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I don't use it to just create all my art. I use it to help me get ideas, and I always put some extra edits in there myself afterwards. And here's a point that a friend of mine who's an artist made that's worth considering. So, since the beginning of time, people look at other artists for inspiration, and you take what you want and leave what you don't want, and you create your own pieces. So, I kind of feel like AI is doing that, combining art from the internet and creating a new piece. I don't know if it's the same thing. I'm still pondering that theory, but I mean, it's true. I used to go on Pinterest and look at hundreds of pieces to get motivated and ideas, and I would use color palettes that other people use, but in a completely different style. Or I would learn how to draw a flower from someone who I liked their style. And mine always came out different, which is why I add that extra step of editing myself. I usually put my AI images in my iPad and kind of play around with them. So that's where I am right now. I know there are a lot of people that don't agree, and you know what? Over time, I may change my opinion too. But right now, I I'm using it to enhance what I'm already doing. So there, that's my feeling about it right now. But I create so many of these things that I would love to share them, and I did start to look around for ways that I could share, maybe weekly or monthly, the paper packs, the designs that I create. So that may be something that I do soon. But I will say, as far as YouTube, when I start a habit, I don't stress too much about being perfect with it. So I've tried to be really consistent with YouTube, but I don't give myself a hard time if life gets in the way. So I want to be consistent, and I want to show up every week, probably on Thursdays. That's kind of where I've been, Thursday or Friday. And there'll come a time where I am ahead of myself and Excuse my dog. I think my granddaughter's home. But there'll come a time where I'll get ahead of myself and videos will get posted anyway, but I'm still getting used to the process and, how to be most efficient. And if I get thrown off track like I did for the holidays, it was just too much to try and get everything done and also get the videos out. So I gave myself a little bit of a break. I did some planning. I've got some exciting projects coming up. But if I don't give up when that happens and I just set a time where I can restart again, I get better and better at it. And I think that's true for most people. So hopefully, another thing that I'm planning this year coming up is also because I've got my store and my booth in the Painted Tree, so I have to stay on top of holiday stuff. I really would love to do a Christmas in July. So my plan is to figure out what my projects are going to be for Christmas, and I'm going to get started on them in July. You may not see some of it until December because I'm going to work on these items that will go in my booth and, of course, record the whole thing. And I will work on editing December's video as I go along throughout the year. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do so that next year it won't be, weeks. I think I missed 4 or 5 videos, which was stressful in the beginning until I realized, okay, let it go. It's fine. And most of you stayed, so I really appreciate it. I am going to need to buy a new computer soon, but right now I'm focusing on being consistent, creating items and getting them in my Painted Tree booth. There's not a lot there now. However, I'm happy to say that so the first month was licensing and all of that stuff. If you don't know what the Painted Tree is, look that up because it's a really cool place, a vendor's mall, I guess you could call it, and it's all over. So we only have one in Florida. Ours just opened up in Cooper City, and I signed up immediately. So the first month that I was in there, I didn't have anything in there because we had to put the wall up. I put slat wall up so I could hang things. And it took a long time for licensing and the setup of the business. So I would assume if you're already set up for business, it would be a lot quicker. But anyway, so the first month, I was only in there for a couple of days, and I think I made $46. It's $240 a month plus 10% plus your liability insurance. So the second month, I really didn't have a lot of stuff in there either because it happened so fast that I didn't have a lot of stuff either completed or even made yet. So I spent the second month doing that. And I believe I'm not, no, you know what? The first month I made nothing because of the license. It was the second month I was in there for 6 days at the end of the month and I made $48. The third month, which just ended, December, I made 340 something, I believe. And so I covered all my expenses. Super, super excited about that. And Bob was like, "Oh, that's great. You can pay the rent and you don't have to pay anything out of your pocket. You're doing really great." And I'm thinking, really? Because I worked really hard and I have pocket change, but I have faith that that will change because I do have a camera in there and I can see what people are looking at. I can see in my back office what people are buying. I know what they like now, so I can target those items and keep those in stock. And the art is a little bit harder to sell, although I'm super excited. I've sold some original pieces, and that's another thing. I realize that some of the styles that I do may not be the best in that situation, so I'll tweak my store as we go, and hopefully it'll be very successful and grow. Anyway, so there's that update. But the reason why I started telling you that is because that's what I'm focusing on being consistent with right now because it's got to pay the rent. But I would like to, once I get a new computer, because I'm having a little bit of a problem with storage on my phone and my computer, my iPad. My computer's 8 years old. So as I do these recordings, I have to move everything off the computer, off the phone, because I'm maxed out on storage. So the next thing I'd like to focus on, as soon as I can get a new computer, is another series here, another playlist. So I want to do quick little Monday quick tips or whatever it is that I'm going to call it, but little short videos on Mondays. I think that would be fun. I've got a lot of quick little tips and tricks and stuff that I learned that may not be the best, but that's where I am in my process right now. And I think it would also invite you guys to respond and help us out, like, if you have a better way. I am not an expert on anything at all. I'm learning just like everybody else, but I love sharing the process. So Monday morning quick takes, maybe a live, I don't know, but that's the future. I'm really having, although I have to focus on my booth right now, I think I will always be on YouTube because I'm really loving it and I've made some really great friends in the process. And maybe one day it will be monetized. Who knows? But that leads me to the next thing that I need to work on this year is my website. My website is darlissadesigns.net, and it has gone through so many different lives. I am not a web designer, although Squarespace makes it pretty easy. I need to completely revamp my website and actually start putting things up there. So I've toyed with going on Etsy just for the volume of traffic that Etsy has. But I have my website and I really love to blog. That's another thing I need to catch up and be consistent with. But I get the important stuff up there, and I'm going to continue trying through my entire life to be a consistent blogger. But for now, when I have something to say, I blog about it. But I would like to eventually tie everything together with my email list and my website and have my artwork on my website. And then I have print on demand items too. So I've got my hands in a lot of projects. And I'm overwhelmed by it because I want to do it all. But I am very reluctant to step back and focus on specific things, one thing at a time. I want all of it. So I keep trying, I keep working on it. One day I'll get help. And that leads me to the next thing that I would like to complete in 2026, and hopefully a lot sooner than that. Hopefully in the next month or two. I started putting some of these designs that I've created together in a book for Amazon. It's not just a bunch of designs that I threw in a book. There's actually a storyline and letters on the back of my images so that you can not worry about having to decide which side of the page you're going to cut out. I think it's a really great idea. I started with English garden theme and I'm a third of the way through the book. So that's another thing that I'd like to complete. And I'm trying to do it. It's one of my 3-month goals for this year. So hopefully that'll be coming to you soon. So that's my update, my wrap up for 2025. I will eventually do a more formal, this is what I learned about YouTube and my process video, but for now, I'm just still trying to just be consistent. So I hope you enjoyed my lovely cows. These eventually ended up being greeting cards that I gave to a friend as a set, my friend who loves little quirky cows. And at some point, I will probably put these designs in a book or share them. I have a Buy Me a Coffee page that I do have a few designs up for free. I can't tell you what that link is right now, but it's on my website, darlissadesigns.net, if you want to go buy me a coffee or just go over there and get the free prints. And again, I'll try and be consistent with the giveaways eventually when I get on top of things. But yeah, these came out really cute on greeting cards, and my friend really enjoyed them. So I hope you all had a really great last year. I know it's been tough for a lot of us, but we made it through. And I wish you the very best in 2026. And I hope to see you a lot more and consistently and grow our family and share lots of tips and tricks and projects. And help each other grow creatively, and support each other as a community, and just have fun. Well, that's all for this week, so stay tuned for a little slideshow of the final versions of these cards. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great week. I'll see you next week. Bye.